Well, I'm not in my normal office. Nope. We're somewhere we absolutely do not want to be right now, and that is back in this laundry room. Why? Because the wife thinks it's her turn. So for you that know me by now, I'd much rather be out there in the garage working on the drag truck, but we're still waiting on parts. So my wife had got clever enough to take advantage of this opportunity to say, hey, there's still some things I want to get done in my laundry room. And I'm like, what could you possibly want left in that laundry room? You guys seen the video when we went through and put all these cabinets in? It looks great. It's fine with me, not with her. So February, we had to buy a new dryer. So now we have a match set finally. Every February, we have pretty bad luck with major appliances. But she gets the idea that she wants to put a shelf above the washer and dryer. I get it. Little extra storage, place to put a lamp and a bunch of things that you don't need. So if we're going to do this, I might as well take you along for the ride to show you step by step of how we're going to get this done. So naturally, there's going to be several tools involved in this, but not too many. You are going to start by first and foremost getting your coffee ready. You're going to need that for this. Secondly, you're going to need a drill, a Phillips bit. You're going to need a tape measure, a small drill bit, and of course a pencil, compound miter saw, which that is outside, and you're going to need some sort of a nailer. And most importantly, you are going to need a level. Now, before the start of any project, you do want to make sure you check with your local code enforcement to make sure that you're not doing anything that doesn't require a permit. So what we're looking to do here is basically build a floating shelf. What we're doing is we're going to use a blonde pine 1x8 to make the substance of the shelf, and then we have a 2-inch drop that we're going to put on the edge to make it look like it's a butcher block style. But to support this floating shelf, we're going to need some support brackets all the way around the perimeter of it. This isn't nothing more than just 1/2-inch square stock. You can see I went ahead and pre-measured this, and with the use of a pencil and the level, I created our line after, about 10 million times, an inch higher, inch lower, the wife not being satisfied on where it needs to be. You get everything marked out. It needs to be a 1/2 inch higher. You dads know what I'm talking about. But we went ahead and got that installed, and that's going to be what supports the body of the shelf. Now, your laundry room or work area may not be set up exactly like this. Since we did go ahead and have this cabinet put in here, basically all I did was I took that little piece, drilled 2 holes in it, and I ran it right through the cabinet. And then on the inside, you can use, a decorative style screw to screw that from the inside out to hold that specific piece up. That way, you don't have a nail shoved into your nice cabinet, and when you open it up, you just see a nice decorative screw, and it doesn't catch anybody's eye. So we're going to move forward with getting our main body cut and setting it in here for kind of a preliminary look. All right, as you can see, we got the bulk of our board in place. Now it's just sitting there. We just is kind of going back and forth with just nipping just a little bit to make sure we have that perfect fit in there. But with this being done, we can go ahead and cut our piece that is basically like a bulkhead piece. It's going to hang down and give this board the illusion that it's real thick. So we can go ahead and get that put on, and we will be gluing that. So that's going to involve some glue and some clamps. So let's go ahead and get after that. So now that we have the bottom side of our shelf, that's really going to give it that illusion of the thickness ripped to the same length as this, you can go ahead and lay a really crappy bead of wood glue, because you're going to find out that the last tube of wood glue that you had is about 4 years old and it didn't want to come out, and you had to use a razor knife to pretty much dissect the whole bottle just to get this much out. But anyway, once you have that applied, go ahead and stick this at the end, get her flush all the way around the edges, and hold her together with a series of clamps. And from here, we wait. While this is drying, let's show you the second thing that we have to do. So as if doing all this for her isn't enough already, she wants to go ahead and add insult to injury by adding another request. So in this room, you have to pack as much stuff as you can. And what I mean in everything is everything laundry related, the kids' book bags from schools, and she wants to have a coat hook hanging here. Now, naturally, they sell them, and we've tried to use them before, but do you think that she's the kind of person that can just hang a coat or an empty book bag on it? No. It needs to be able to support the weight of a Greyhound bus. So in order to achieve that for her, we're going to have to build this ourselves. Now, since we are going to do our shelf over the laundry or the washer and dryer in a natural blonde finish, we're going to go ahead and carry that same theme to this shelf. Now, this is the same material that I got for the shelf over here. It's the same size and diameter or dimensions and everything too. This is an 8-inch, which is not truly 8 inches. It's technically 7 1/4, but we're going to use that, and we're going to use these hooks. Now, this is a 4-foot piece, and we're going to rip this down to 3 foot because 4 foot's going to look a little gaudy on this wall. So let's go ahead and get this thing cut, and we can actually secure this straight to the studs to where we know that it's going to have the support that it needs to carry the weight of the world on its shoulders. So right now we have this piece ripped down to 3 feet. And we're just going to use a little pencil just to make a little line to know where we want the top of this to be, whatever height's appealing to you. Now, since this thing is going to have to be anchored like the USS Constitution, we're going to use our stud finder, and we're going to go ahead and scan this wall and try to figure out where our studs are here. Looks like we got one right here. So we're going to put us a mark here. Looks like we got another one right here. So now that we found the studs on our wall, we're going to go ahead and we're going to use the back side of this board to make all of our measurements. So we went ahead on the back side of our board and we made a mark here, here, and here, just so we know that this is where our studs are going to line up. Yeah, I'm not using a carpenter pencil. I'm using some kid's pencil. Now, if you do see in the background and you see the washer and dryer and you see Speed Queen and you're wondering, hey, what's that? Commercial heavy duty models. Let me tell you what, these things are phenomenal. They're a little bit on the pricey side, but they're honestly, they're priced, even though these look like a set of appliances that came out of the 70s or 80s, they're priced about like what the really, really good brand LG and all these things that break down left and right are going to cost you. This has the steam clean and everything like that. Basically, to put this in perspective, even the service techs that came out to work on other appliances, they said, if you have Speed Queen, it's going to be at least 10 years before you see us. They're really heavy duty, long-term models, and these things wash and dry absolutely phenomenal. But they are fantastic models. If you're thinking about getting a set of appliances, don't hesitate. They're amazing. They really are. Back to this board. So now that we know where our stud's going to be lined up, so we can drill our pilot holes through the back side of the board without minimal damage to the front of the board, although we're going to have to sand it. And yes, we're going to be polyurethane in this before we hang it. But for now, let's just go ahead and mark out where our coat hooks are going to be. That way, with any luck, none of them will line up and we can't cover none of our holes up, which looks like is going to be exactly the case. So none of these we're not going to be able to hide any of our holes with any of these hooks. So that's all right. So what our next step is going to be, we're going to take our level and we're going to put these hooks a little bit on the bottom side. So I want to go take this level to the edge of this board, get it flush, and we're going to draw a line this way. And we're going to use that to know, that's what we're going to use to know where the bottom of each one of these need to rest, just so they're all perfectly in order. So to get our hooks measured out evenly, we know we have a 36-inch board, so we're going to go 36 divided by 4, which is going to be 9, which we're going to take 9, divide that by 2, which is 4.5, and that's where the center of this hook's going to go. So the dead center of that hook's going to be at 4.5. That one will go, then we'll add 9, and that'll be 13.5, add 9, 22.5, add 9, 31.5, add 4.5, and we're back to the edge of our board. So now that we have these kind of placed where they need to go, we'll go ahead and take this and mark our screw holes. So we finally have our coat hook bracket on the wall. Looks great. This thing is, I'll tell you what, she rips this off and don't listen to anything that I've said. But we do have some holes here and they're a little unsightly. So we're going to take a little bit of wood putty. We're going to fill this in. Now this is that kind that kind of goes on pink. And so we're going to go ahead and fill these because we're making this thing a permanent structure on this wall. Then we're going to give this thing a light sand, polyurethane it, and hang our coat hooks on there. And we're going to call this project done. Yeah, I'm using my finger. You could have went about this also a different way. You could buy the little plugs or make yourself little plugs, buy a dowel. That's not a bad method either. But we're just doing this. This is what we want to do. And if you're lucky, you can make the mess that I'm making right now. It's kind of like a Bob Ross painting, you know? Except he makes happy little accidents. I make happy little catastrophic failures. All right, so now that I put way too much on, all right, we're just going to leave that alone since I keep making it worse. All right, well, so far so good. We just kind of, after we glued this all together, glued this outer lip to it, we just took a sander just to kind of smooth out that edge a little bit. And just took a little hand sanding block just to roll this edge so you don't have a sharp edge on the top or on the bottom. But you can see we have a nice tight fit against the wall, a nice tight fit against that cabinet. This is just sitting on here right now, so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and pull this thing back off, start the polyurethane process on this, which that'll be a coat, sand it down, probably 2 or 3 times till we get that smooth, slick. But just a low sheen finish is all we're looking for. So all we're going to use to finish this thing up is, let's see, that's Minwax, clear satin, and a spray can. A whole lot faster than that brushing business. And we're just going to get a kind of a light initial coat just to get something on it. This wood's going to suck this stuff up quickly. And once we get a few builds on it, then we can kind of hit it with some fine sandpaper, smooth out the high spots, hit it again, and again we'll do that a few times just until we get the desired coverage that we're looking for. We don't want this thing to be real shiny or anything. We just want it to have a natural kind of country house setting, which is what we have. We could build way fancier shelves if we'd like to, but you know, this is just a simple country home style. Anybody's capable of building this. So we're going to give that a few minutes to sit and we'll be back right after it. So we went ahead and finished our polyurethane and everything and went ahead and got this shelf put in place and nailed down. And Liam, how do you think this turned out?
It turned out great, Dad.
I'm glad you like it. You think Mom's going to like it?
I don't know. We'll see what she says.
We'll see what she says. Well, let me give you a final shot of our end result. Like I said, this whole idea was it was just a country design. You know, this isn't nothing more than, now this is more of a premium pine and just standard hat hooks. But the premium pine, it's a lot easier to work with. It's better. You got a way nicer finish, way nicer
It turned out great, yeah.
And she's really thrilled with that. And look at this shelf, wall to wall. And we pretty much now have maximized the space above the washer and dryer since we've added all these beautiful cabinets. Now that we've added that, you know, we couldn't be happier. She's got places for all her little knickknacks and doodads and whatnot. And most importantly, cup of coffee. But we have finally wrapped up this home DIY project. Liam, are you ready to get out of here?
I'm ready to get out of here.
Liam, you can't do that while I'm recording. Liam. So we have wrapped up this home DIY project. Total cost in this whole thing is right around $100. Coat rack, I messed it up again. So we have finally wrapped up this home DIY project, and our total cost in this is about $100. So it's very affordable to maximize the space in a laundry room. And Liam, are you ready to get out of this laundry room?
I'm ready to get out of here.
We are ready to be done with this project. So thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe.